Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking into something pretty fascinating, how wealthy people actually think.
Yeah, we're drawing from Steve Siebold's work, How Rich People Think.
Right. And it's less about, specific stock tips or anything, and more about the underlying mindset, what's going on upstairs.
Exactly. Siebold interviewed loads of wealthy individuals, and it's these core beliefs, these ways of seeing things that really stand out.
So our mission today is really to pull out those key differences in thinking, things maybe you can start applying.
Definitely. Let's get into it.
Okay, so one of the first big ones Siebold mentions is, well, it's pretty stark. The idea that the middle class might see money as the root of all evil.
While the wealthy tend to see poverty as the root of all evil, it's a complete flip.
That's a huge difference in perspective right from the start.
It really is.
Yeah.
Maybe one view focuses on potential greed. The other focuses on, the real limitations the lack of money creates. For them, wealth is more of a tool.
Okay, then there's this idea around selfishness. Middle class often thinks, oh, that's bad.
Right, it's seen as a vice. But Siebold says the wealthy can see it as a virtue, which sounds
Sounds wrong, almost.
kind of... But the idea is more about self-care, maybe. Like, you have to be okay yourself before you can really effectively help anyone else. Build your foundation first.
Gotcha. So it's not just about hoarding stuff.
Not necessarily, no. It's about being strong enough to contribute later.
Okay. What about the lottery mentality versus, like, an action mentality?
Yeah. Waiting for that big win versus actually going out and doing something.
Seems obvious, but...
But it's fundamental. The wealthy tend to be builders, proactive. They believe they create their success, not just hope for it.
And linking into that, this belief some have that the rich must be crooks versus the wealthy believing, hey, I provided value, that's where wealth comes from.
Big difference. One view keeps you stuck, maybe resentful. The other, it focuses you on what can I create, what value can I bring. It's empowering.
And it's not just about being smarter, is it? People assume the rich just have higher IQs.
Siebold argues it's more about mindset. Your beliefs about money, risk, learning. That's the core differentiator.
Logic versus passion comes up too. How does that play out with money?
Well, you need logic, obviously.
Huh.
Financial planning. But passion, that's the engine. It fuels the drive, especially when things get tough. They're often really into what they do.
So instead of setting low expectations to avoid disappointment,
They aim high. They expect challenges, sure, but they see them as part of the journey, not stop signs.
this next one's interesting. Middle class thinks you have to do something specific to get rich. Wealthy think you have to be something. What's that mean?
It's like a sand skull. Identity drives action. Less about just the hustle, and more about cultivating the mindset of a successful person. Resilience, belief, seeing opportunity, the doing flows from the being.
And the whole scarcity versus abundance thing, money is tight versus money is everywhere.
Huge. If you think it's scarce, you hold back. You're afraid to lose it. If you think it's abundant, you're more likely to maybe invest or see opportunities to create more.
Which leads right into focusing on saving versus focusing on earning.
Exactly. Saving is crucial, nobody denies that. But the wealthy often put a stronger emphasis on increasing their earning potential, finding new income streams.
Playing it safe with money versus knowing when to take calculated risks.
Calculated is the word. It's not wild gambling. It's understanding the odds, weighing potential rewards against potential downsides. It's necessary for growth.
Finding comfort in uncertainty. That's tough for a lot of people.
For sure. But the wealthy often get comfortable with change, even seek it out, seeing it as where the opportunities lie. Adaptability.
And that relationship with money, never enough. Versus finding peace of mind.
Yeah, one feels like a constant chase. The other suggests wealth can bring genuine security and freedom from worry.
Believing being rich is a privilege versus believing it's a right. That sounds a bit entitled.
It can, but maybe it's more a sense of deservingness linked to providing value. A belief that if you solve problems or create something people want, wealth is a natural outcome you're entitled to.
And investing. Middle class might see it as risky. Wealthy see not investing as the real risk.
Yeah, long-term thinking. Inflation erodes savings. Not investing means missing out on compounding and growth. Inaction becomes the bigger gamble over time.
Thinking big versus playing small, scale of ambition.
Right. Just much bigger goals, bigger vision for what's possible.
Working hard for money versus leveraging ideas.
It's about scalability, Not just trading hours for dollars, but creating systems, using ideas, employing others, making your impact bigger than just your own direct effort.
Which is similar to trading time for money versus trading results for money.
Precisely. Focus on the value delivered, the outcome achieved, not just the clock.
Social circles, too, sticking with your own kind versus associating with successful people.
The power of your network. Learning from others, getting different perspectives, finding mentors or partners, it matters who you surround yourself with.
Seeing money as complex versus simple. Is it really simple?
Maybe not easy, but the wealthy often grasp the fundamental principles: earning, saving, investing, leverage, without getting bogged down in unnecessary complexity.
Emotional control is huge, right? Letting money stress you out versus managing emotions around it.
Absolutely critical. Fear and greed can drive terrible financial decisions. Emotional discipline is key.
And how they teach their kids survival skills versus how to actually get rich.
Passing on that mindset. Prioritizing financial literacy and wealth creation principles from early on.
Which brings us to the end point, being stressed by money versus finding freedom in it.
Ultimately, that's the goal for many, isn't it? Wealth providing options, security, less anxiety, a tool for a better life.
So wrapping up, it really seems to boil down to fundamental thinking patterns, much more than just luck or circumstance.
Absolutely. And the key takeaway is these are mindsets. They can be learned, cultivated. It's not something you're just born with.
So a final thought for you listening. Which of these differences really hit home for you? And maybe what's one tiny shift in thinking you could experiment with starting today? Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.